So for the first, those who want to become better readers, three things, three ideas to make reading more fun. The first one, there are learning styles, VAK. I'm not sure if you've come across VAK. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic.
Right, yes.
Right?
Okay.
Those who learn by reading, those who learn by listening and talking, and those who learn by doing.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has one strong, usually two strong, and one weak one. Everybody has some mix of all three. Figure out what your style is and learn your way. Which means if you're the kind of person who can sit down, pick up a 200-page book, read cover to cover and absorb it, that's great. If you aren't that type, and there's very few who are, if you aren't that type, read a chapter, read 5 pages, 10 pages, and then close the book. And write down what you learned in bullet points, like 3 bullet points, 4 bullet points, or talk to somebody, even talk to an empty chair. Record your thoughts, because when you speak about what you've absorbed, you actually ingrain that learning, right? And there's a saying, teaching is learning twice. So you read a book or you read a chapter, you close it and you say, okay, so here's what I picked up from that chapter, A, B, C, D. And that will make that learning so much more powerful. And if you're kinesthetic, then close the book and do something. So that's really, really important. So, consume and then discuss it and implement it, right? Second thing, reading does seem like a chore to a lot of people, and it shouldn't be, because as soon as it becomes a chore, it's no longer fun. It's no longer something I want to do. It's something I have to do. Anything that we have to do is boring. So make it fun. Make it a family activity. I know of people who would sit down, they have let's say a half hour on the weekends or an hour on the weekends where they sit down with their kids. Everyone's got a book in their hands and they just sit down and read together. And it doesn't matter what you're reading. It honestly, if you want to read fiction, read fiction. If you want to read self-development, if you want to read mental wellness, if you want to read, whatever you want to read. It's the habit of reading, which is a really, really powerful thing to cultivate. So that sort of structure, I think, is really, really important. Another thing that is, if you want to become better at reading, set a reading goal. Something really easy, 3 pages a day. Slot it into your diary. You're going to get up in the morning, you're going to read a book or you're going to read your 3 pages with your first coffee.
First, go get a diary.
That's the next podcast. When you reach the office, when you sit down at your desk, first thing you do is read a couple of pages. When you're on lunch, read a couple of pages. Whatever it is that works for you. I would strongly advise not reading before sleeping, especially nonfiction. Because you're reading to fall asleep and you're not going to remember it. You're tired, your mind's tired, you've had a long, busy day. You're going to pick up a book on, the synergy between team members and how to maximize synergy. That's bullshit. Yeah. Who's going to read that? So structure it into your day and hold yourself accountable. Have a friend call you every single day and say, look, did you read your 3 pages? Mm-hmm. It will make a world of a difference.
Yeah. And I think in general, when you're starting out too, I would even go as far as recommending reading trash, because it's the habit of reading that you're trying to pick up. Yeah. So even if it's the Cosmopolitan or
maybe not that trash. But yeah,
not saying that Cosmopolitan is trash. You're amazing, but it's the habit of reading that's more important. And I always have a book on my nightstand, and I've noticed 100% what you said about fiction versus nonfiction. It's just that some of the fiction that I read gives me really crazy dreams. Like I read science fiction, like for example, The Dune. Have you read the Dune series?
I haven't read it yet.
Oh boy, don't read that before bedtime. You'll have some fun dreams. But lately, I am actually right now reading something that is nonfiction in bed, but it's a book on writing. Mm-hmm. It's called On Writing Well. I can't pronounce the author's name, so I won't even try. But it's really short chapters on how to write better. It's actually soothing, and it kind of puts me to sleep. And I think during my sleep, the messages kind of assimilate, and I wake up knowing the lessons. But
that works for
on
you.
Like
works
heavy strategy stuff,
it's not gonna. It's probably not going to give you the most restful sleep. Worst case, you're going to wake up at 2:00 in the morning with a bunch of business ideas. I mean,
that's not helpful for anybody.
Third thing, and I honestly, I cannot stress this enough. Learn to speed read.
How does one learn to speed read?
Get on YouTube and type how to speed read.
By Tim Ferriss.
I'm sure there's one. Speed reading is actually pretty easy.
Yeah.
Half an hour of speed reading exercises, your speed will go up. Guaranteed.
I'm a very slow reader.
If you know you're a slow reader,
very
and
slow.
There's a book that you really want to read, but it's that big, how do you feel?
When I look at Thinking Fast and Slow, a part of my soul leaves my body.
Now, if you know there's a 200-page book and it's going to take you 2 hours to get through that, you can plan around it.
Tell me if this
You
is
can-
right. Like some of the tricks are to skim, read the first and the last word of the sentence, and try to let your brain figure out the middle. Are those kind of the
Not
tricks
figure
for
out,
speed?
but you see words in chunks.
Yeah.
Speed reading has science behind it
Mm-hmm.
and has a bit of psychology behind it. The science behind it is how your eyes and brain pick up the written word, and psychology is shutting down the voice in your head that's reading the book out loud to you and knowing that you can actually go a lot faster than you think you can go. I'm not going to go into speed reading for now. I'm just going to say learn to speed read.
Mm-hmm.
You can drive a Ferrari in a parking lot, but a bus on the racetrack's not going to go too well. So if
I
you
love
learn
it.
to speed read, you can slow down whenever you want. When I read fiction, I go slow because I want to enjoy that. You want to create the
Yeah.
world in your head. You want to feel the emotion. You want to really immerse yourself in the book.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're reading, thinking fast and slow. When you're reading the books that we're going to talk about today,
Yeah.
there's a really nice quote, I think it's by Seth Godin, where he says, let's say a 200-page book, 10 pages is really what the author wants you to know. The other 190 pages is for the publisher. Because if you go into the bookstore today and there's 2 books on the shelf, same book, one's a summary version, one's a full book. They're both 50 dirhams. One's 10 pages, one's 200 pages. Which one do you buy? The 200 pages. Why? More bang for your buck. More pages for my money. Which one will you probably read? The
Yeah.
10 pages. Don't get me wrong, the 200 pages is great. That's where the stories come out, that's where the proof comes out, that's where the background comes out. It's great
Yeah.
to know all of that. But if you're not going to read it, just read the summary.
Yeah.
At least read the summary. And if you're a speed reader, one thing that you'd also realize is, or if you've read enough business books, one thing you'd realize is a lot of stuff's repeated.
Mm-hmm.
So if you miss something, just keep going. You don't have to go back, a paragraph or a page or a chapter. You'll pick it up. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Right? It's really not that complicated. Business books are way too dumbed down.
Yeah.
Way too dumbed down. Which is why summaries can be made of them. Try summarizing, Similarian or Harry Potter or something. You're not going to be able to.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, you can't do it. So those are 3 things. Read to match your learning style. On that. It doesn't have to be a physical book.
Mm-hmm.
Some people prefer books which they can touch and dog ear and underline and highlight. Some people prefer reading on devices.
Yeah.
If anybody prefers reading on their device, please visit Zed Library. Z-lib.org. World's largest online free library, 10.5 million books at the time of this taping and going up every single day. An amazing resource. And you can download 15, 20 different books over there, skim through them. If you like it, buy the ones that you're going to read. It's... some people prefer audiobooks. Some people prefer podcasts. Some people prefer workshops. Whatever your chosen medium, learn. Books are just one way of learning, right? So read to match your learning style, structure, make it fun, hold yourself accountable. And number 3, learn to speed read. And if you do these 3 things, I guarantee you're going to get through a heck of a lot more content than you are right now.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And I just feel like anyone who's decided to write a book has thought about it a lot, to put those words into pages. So it's a way bigger commitment for authors to put down their thoughts in a way that the masses can understand than it would be, for example, creating a video. Right. And I've personally not been a fan of videos because I feel like I'm too distracted by my other senses. So I like your point about picking your own style, your learning style more than reading style. And if anyone wants to check out book summaries, the one place I usually go to, I don't know if you do, Derek Sivers. So DerekSivers. He was the founder of CD Baby, one of the first music retailers online. He writes great book summaries on his website just as a hobby.
Nice.
And they are my pre-qualifiers whether I should buy the book or not.
Very nice.
And he rates them and I enjoy his books. I enjoy him talking. And his way of writing summaries is really clear. So Derek Sivers,
Nice one.
check it out.